Well, hello, everybody. Hey, what's going on here? This is Dave the Shockwave. This is the Rock Shop here on KDUX Web Radio. This today is going to be a special segment here. I'll talk about that in just a moment. But before I do that, I just wanted to, for those of you that are sports fanatics, baseball fans, I just wanted to kind of give you a quick update of what transpired last night. Yes, the New York Yankees prevailed last night, folks. They were down 2-0 against the Cleveland Indians. They won last night by the final score of 5-2, winning the series 3-2. That's the American League Division Series. They advanced to the American League Championship Series, taking on the Houston Astros, which will be Friday night, Game 1 at Minute Maid Park. And yesterday afternoon, the Washington Nationals beat the Chicago Cubs 5-0. They tied the series at 2 games apiece. That was played on a very cold and rainy evening when the Nationals took a 5-0 lead. Well, half the fans already left the ballpark. Well, that's what happened. I even saw the game myself. So anyway, Game 5 will be tonight at Washington. It will be shown on TBS. The winner of that game will advance to take on the LA Dodgers. And just another quick announcement. I've been mentioning this local rock band, Dark Avenue. Dark Avenue has their upcoming show, which will be October 23rd. That's Monday night at Gas Monkey Bar and Grill. And I will be playing a couple of excerpts from my interview with 2 of the 5 members. As well as an unplugged acoustic rendition of their new single entitled The Light. Do stay tuned for that next week on Monday at the top of the hour, sometime between the top and the bottom of the hour, 3 o'clock Central Standard Time. Okay, I am done with that. All right, well, hey, this is a special segment today. I have 2 very special guests. I have a classmate. Well, I don't know if he's a former classmate or if I'm still going to continue to take classes with him. Who knows? In the music department, I have Mr. Ryan Tamez here. Welcome, sir.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for bringing us on, man.
Yay! Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You're still playing your, playing metal, metal music.
Yeah, everything, man. Everything from metal to funk to jazz to, hip hop, R&B. We can get it real funky, man. You know, that's one thing about the music program up here is you learn many different styles, and you also learn to be efficient in many different styles. And I really appreciate that about the way they teach things up here. Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. And standing right next to Tamez is an artist here. His name is Jay Smith. Jay Smith, hey, welcome to our show, sir.
What's going on, man?
Hey, same old, right?
Same old.
Just another day.
Just another day.
Another day, yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about your album here, Poetry in Motion. I listened to several tracks, and it's interesting. I find this very interesting and find it very, very unique. Tell me, Jay, a little bit about your unique style and putting this album together.
Well, all the music comes from real life, a lot of it just comes from pain that's been built up or, something that I went through. So I started rapping a long time ago. I wasn't writing or nothing. I just used to see people, battle rapping. I used to be like, I suck right now, I want to get good. So it got to the point to where, I started practicing and, just mastered it. And, I took my life and put it inside the music because I don't want to give the people something that's not real, something I'm not really living or that I've never been through. So we came up with Poetry in Motion because everybody has a life story,
Sure.
Only, we just don't know the ending.
Okay. Well, your story, the way that I interpret it, the way I interpret the story is that it's more of a positive outlook on life, more of, making the world a better place. Is that fair for me to say?
Yeah, it's fair to say that.
Okay. And did you listen to let me just put it to you this way. Did you listen to all kinds of music genres? Rock music,
everything.
Everything?
Everything.
Okay. And so what then got you exposed then to hip hop?
Well, I started off listening to rap.
Okay.
So as time went on, I found myself liking all kinds of stuff from, Jimi Hendrix to, listening to Temptations and so as time went on, I just started realizing that, different genres, they all, no matter what genre it is, somebody has a good message out there. So I started listening to different music and be like, man, they saying the same thing like they do in hip hop. It's just in a different way. And a lot of people don't get that, so they down another genre.
Okay, they don't get that. What do you mean they don't get?
They don't get
what?
that, just because it's not a trap beat or because it's not in the hip hop form, that they're not saying something real. It's like, oh, I don't listen to that because it's country. Well, it might be a real good song that, give you something to feed off,
Right.
So, that's kind of how the world is, If it's unfamiliar to you, then a lot of times people won't mess with it.
Okay, so let me see if I understand you. The lyrics that you have, obviously most people are accustomed to talking about stuff that happened in the streets, in a more negative way, more or less. And I'm sure you've heard a lot of, that type of rap, hardcore rap and all that. So it seems to me that you wanted to, again, project it in a more, in a more positive way. So that, as was what's happening here in reality, people just are describing that.
Yeah.
But you want to just go beyond and say, look, there's more to life than,
real talk.
Then right, exactly. So, okay. So as I mentioned, as I already mentioned, there's, you have a reflection of positivity on the outlook of life, making a world a better place. Has anybody approached you and say, hey, man, this is different. I really enjoy your lyrics. I really, has anybody approached you and given you a compliment on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do they say?
Yeah, all the time.
What do they say?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They be like, it's been a while since I heard something like real like that. Unless you kind of listen to J. Cole or, Andre 3000 or something, you really don't hear that. You hear all that new mumble rap, So, like, when people approach me and, they be like, oh, that's a good song, it's because I'm just talking about what I went through, because I give it a positive outlook because of what I lived through, of what I've seen face to face with the streets, And that's not something that I want to sit here and tell my child, oh, yeah, go do this and do this, when I've already seen friends murdered and all that stuff. And it's just like, nobody wants to live there. We're trying to get out of that situation. And, because there are young men and women out here who are growing up without a real influence, without a real person in their life saying, hey, if you do this, that's basically what my album is saying. If you do this and this, don't be surprised what comes with that consequence. So a lot of times, when people ask me about it, how do you write and all this other stuff, I'm just telling a story and they can relate to it because it's real. Some of them probably experienced. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone here listening right now or in their interview, we've all went through some things that, that hurt the heart to where we needed something to release that pressure up off us.
Yeah.
Ryan, seems like his stuff is basically again it's talking about more than just what's going on in the streets. Is there anything you want to add?
Well, I kind of see it this way, man. When you come from a place of the heart, it doesn't just transfer in the lyrics. People hear it in the tone of your voice. They understand the authenticity that's coming through, and that's something that we don't have nowadays. We have so many people on, just getting played on certain radio stations and things like that, or seeing videos online and stuff where you only see the best of the best day of their life every time that they post a video or every time that they have a new song out or something like that. And that's not every day, man. They would, they're creating somewhat of a visual facade that people are really attracted to, and that's not real life, man. Real life, the glory and honor is found in beating your struggles. It's found in coming past those points that bring you down, not glorifying what's actually the cause of all the problems, like drugs, gangs, violence in the streets, all kinds of stuff like this, man. This is ridiculous, childish stuff. He got my boy, so I'm about to go get this guy. You know what I'm saying? This kind of stuff is ridiculous, man. That kind of stuff right there is a never-ending hole that just traps people, and it creates a kind of subculture in a way that doesn't allow people to see. It clouds the eyes, it clouds the mind because they're surrounded by it every day.
Sure.
And then even their celebrities and idols and hopes that they see, on TV or on YouTube or anywhere else, they glorify that life as if that's what got them out of it. My hose, my rings, the cars I drive, everything else. But then they flash the money, and then they talk about flipping drugs and everything else. You're like, you realize that one person to make it out of that life is such the opposite of what the real statistic is. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Most people don't make it out of that. Most people who live that kind of life don't make it past 21. They're either locked up in jail or they're dead.
Right.
And that's the only two ways that you get out of that, unless you straighten up your life and you really try to fly right. And honestly, I believe, truthfully and wholeheartedly that in Jay's lyrics, he's really highlighting the negative effects of a lot of this stuff, but at the same time showing that there's another way out of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be completely involved in everything that's around you. Don't let your environment consume your life. Your life is what you're willing to make it. And just because it might seem like, so and so the government's holding me down, or I can't get out the block because all my homies look at me bad whenever I'm trying to do something positive. I get good grades. I show up to class. I focus and I work hard. I show up to my job and I don't call in being all lazy and stuff just because I don't want to be there that day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's all kinds of stuff that you can let get in your way, but the truth is you're letting it get in your way. You know what I mean? And his lyrics, man, and the music itself, aside from the lyrics, kind of have that hopeful vibe, but they also surround the lyrics in such a manner that it creates almost a bed for the lyrics to lay in, you know, and they lay there comfortably.
Right.
And his message is just so strong, man.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I guess the world is so consumed, with negativity, big time.
It sells.
Correct. And also the fact that, the movies, all of these movies, I mean, it doesn't seem that it teaches a lesson. It seems that it just makes it worse. I'm not sure, because if I'm understanding you, Ryan, it seems like you have to do this on your own to find a way out.
Yeah.
Okay, no matter what your surroundings are,
exactly.
Or how you grew up,
we talk about in our society, we talk about having certain freedoms and certain liberties. The biggest freedom and liberty you have, especially in the United States, is being able to determine your outcome in life. And if you're going to let these environments and these different things affect you, or these certain situations, instead of sitting down and really thinking about it with a cool head, you want to let your emotions control you. Emotions really drive you in the wrong direction sometimes, and they don't just drive you there, but sometimes there's unintended consequences when you act on certain emotions in the hastiness and in such a quick manner to respond to certain situations. But if you have a little bit of patience and you have a little bit of time, you can sit down and figure this stuff out and be able to rise above the situation you're in, and sometimes it takes a lot longer than what we want it to be, you know what I'm saying? But in the end, it's all about getting past that. That's where your honor and your glory is found, getting past that, trusting in the fact that you're going to be able to make it through, and the best way to do it is look back at all the stuff you already been through. You're still alive now. What makes you think this situation is going to take you out?
Right. Right.
You got to have confidence, man.
Yeah. You have to find a way to explore it differently.
Exactly.
Somehow separate yourself from the rest of the society. There, Jay Smith, if I may ask you, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Then I moved to Texas when I was about 11, 10.
Okay. And in the area that you grew up in, was it a?
Yeah, most definitely, man. It's wild, wild west out there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So what you basically see in the movies is what
you saw as a kid, you know.
Right.
Because I saw as a kid, the things that I saw as a kid, you'd be like, oh, you wasn't supposed to see that as a kid. So, you know, growing up, at the age of 10, I already had that mindset that I'm going to be a gangster. This is what I'm going to do. I already had that mindset because it was already instilled inside of me. It was already, that seed was already planted to be that. But, you know.
In order to find a way to survive, that type of mindset that you would have to develop, because you would assume that you would be approached by, you know, people and, and they would influence you to.
Dude, as a kid, like, you had to worry about getting killed by grown men. It was like, well, I'm only 7.
Yeah.
But what you see, you know, is what you saw, you know, that you shouldn't have had seen. This world is so crazy, man. When you've actually seen life on the darker side, or you've actually seen it face to face, it's like, why would you want that? Because even as I grew up, I still stayed in that world until, you know, it hit me hard, until I started seeing even more and worse things. So it was crazy growing up as a kid, man.
So about how old were you when you decided to, you know, say, hey, this is not what I want to this is not how I want to live. I want to be different. I want to separate myself from the bad environment that I was, you know, that you were in. How old were you when that, you know, when you decided enough is enough? I am going to go ahead and, you know, portray myself, you know, in a positive way, and, you know, something like that.
I'd say about a couple of years ago. I'd say about 25. That's when I started losing a lot of friends, you know, to the streets, you know, losing a brother to prison, you know. So when I started seeing people drop like flies, I was like, I'm not trying to be the next fly to get swatted, you know?
Right.
Because I knew where I was going. Either I was going to do something dumb or something dumb was going to happen to me.
Right.
So I had to make that choice, like, okay, you got a kid on the way, you know, you got to do things different now. You can't do what you used to do because it's greater consequences for it now, because now you're no longer a kid. Now you're really in the war zone.
Right.
Like, just up the street, what really made me stop was a couple of friends got, you know, shot down. So, and that was all like within a 2-month range of 6 friends dying, brother going to prison, all at one time. So I was like, you know what? I'm good, man.
Yeah.
I'm good.
You were going to tell yourself you're going to find a way to be okay.
Yeah.
You're going to tell yourself that you're not going to be the next person in line.
Yeah.
You know, like the others. You had to find a way to project yourself, and so you're instilling this in your music.
Yeah.
You know, which by the way is fantastic. It's really, really fantastic. So if you were, let me just ask you this: if you were approached by someone and were told that they only liked your music, would you be okay with it? If they just liked your music?
If they just like mine? Nah. I wouldn't be okay with that.
You would not be okay with that?
No, I wouldn't be okay
you would
with
not
that.
You'd not be satisfied?
No.
Why not?
Because somebody else has a message too. Somebody else has something to say that, you know, you can relate to more, you know, because everybody has a voice, but you're only going to relate to certain artists. You know, you're only going to be relating to certain people, certain groups, you know. Somebody might, I never went through that. But this person did, and they got something to tell you, you know. So, because you shouldn't be boxed in when it comes to music, not at all, because you're missing out on so much great music, man. I mean, people from Red Hot Chili Peppers, everything, man, you're missing out on a lot of great music. You should not downplay it. Oh, I'm just gonna listen to these couple of guys. You're gonna get tired of listening to that. Eventually, you're gonna want something that has a new groove, a new vibe, and it's like,
right.
Oh, where do I turn to? You know, oh, well, you know, it's so much great music. You're just passing it up because of what others got to say about it. You don't want to look lame, as they would say.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I bump Ellie Goldie. Like I go down the hood real fast and bump it, turn it up. What
Yeah.
is he listening to? They say the craziest things. What kind of music is that? Like, what you mean? It's music.
So it seems to me that's probably not very truthful when they approach you and they would just tell you, "Hey, man, I just like you for the music," but they're just, or they're apprehensive to tell you that they really don't like your lyrics.
Yeah.
So, but
It's something. But you heard it though. That's all that matters.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So. Let's see. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we go ahead and play one of your tracks here? There's one here. I guess it's the first track here. It's called "For the Fam." Yeah. This one has some pretty cool guitar riffs.
Yeah.
That wasn't you playing that, Ryan, was it?
Yeah, that was me.
It
Man.
was you?
Yeah.
that's it.
Sweet.
All the guitar stuff you hear on the album is me.
Yeah.
The piano stuff and the Rhodes stuff, that's me playing.
Wow.
Yeah, we did a lot of interesting things in the studio, man, when we were recording this album.
Uh-huh.
I would have to say, because his working schedule and my school and my work schedule, because I don't just do this. I'm a studio musician, so some people call me, "Hey, can you come lay down some guitar solos for this?"
Right.
Or, "Can you come play a certain drum part for this or that?" I get calls all the time, and I also get called to go play, for different events, like for playing at a youth explosion or like a little music festival. They call them youth explosions because it's mostly church involved and different things with different churches and stuff. But I also get called in as a backup guy, like if somebody's sick or something or can't make it, they call me in and give me the material to learn, and then I learn it as quick as I can and get it down as quick as I can. Try to have a somewhat simple rehearsal process before the show, and then go play the show. But for the most part, man, when it comes to in the studio stuff and we're doing our own thing, we can pretty, the creativity is endless. You don't have to stick to a lead sheet or some kind of idea that somebody already wrote for you. So we kind of went wild on this one, man. We did everything. We got a hard rock metal track on there. We got some jazz stuff. We got some blues.
You got some. I've noticed you got some classical piano.
Yeah.
You got some techno.
Yeah.
You've got and we're gonna play another one here too called "To the Top," which is very high energy level.
Oh yeah.
Love that. I love that. It's really dun 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 to the top. It's like way just like boy, it just like that energy. You know what, Jay Smith? You know what, buddy? I know that you really enjoy everything that you put together. The hard work that you put into this album. You had so much fun with it. It's so exciting and it's so refreshing to hear. It really is. It really is. All right, so Rock Shop here with the Shockwave here. A special guest, Jay Smith, and his album is entitled Poetry in Motion. Also alongside my former classmate, which he could still be a current classmate if we're going to continue to take classes together in music, as our special guest here for the Rock Shop. It is currently now at about 4 minutes past the bottom of the hour. Let's check out this track. Again, the album is Poetry in Motion. The name of the song is called "For the Fam." You're only going to hear it right here on KDUX.
I know what you think. He lost his mind, but I'm really focused. Focus on the grind. See, I'm reaching for it. I'm really trying to find it. See, I'ma crush him with the real and kill him with the silence. See, understand, I grew up in a city full of violence. I told God I'm sick of living this life I'm writing. See, you understand what I'm saying? You know we grinding. So keep it quiet, cause I killed it right timing. They say I misconstrue everything that I say. You out of line, so I put them back right in place. And I ain't tripping, cause the blood of Christ I'm trying to taste. But my heart is steady tripping, so I'm trying to wait. But we ain't got that time, cause I'm just trying to get it. I'ma go and take off, I'm trying to hit it. See, you don't understand, that's why you question me. But you can't question me, cause that's that inner beast. That be that one that go get it, he gotta eat. So you saying whatever, you don't even know me. I've been through hell and back, it's time to take it there. I told God to take me out before I take it there. I'm trying to make it far, but I'm just still reaching, my soul deteriorating. Oh, it's really aching. My belly's still aching. I'm still really chasing. Everything I gotta get, you know I'm still hating. They don't understand that I do it for my fam. Yeah, they don't understand that I'm riding and I'm grinding, trying to get to the paper for my fam. Yes, I gotta ride and good, it cause I'm tired of being down. Ain't nobody ever around, we all down. They wanna judge what I do for my fam, for my fam. They don't understand that I'm grinding for my fam. So let me begin, or this the end. They shaking hands with the devil, that's not your friend. They telling me smooth, you out of line, that's sin. I'm like, man, keep it quiet, let's get it in. You always talking down, but yeah, let's not pretend. I know I'm really trying to take it there, I gotta win. I'm sick of going to jail, I'm sick of seeing guns. I'm sick of seeing hollow tips hit my favorite sons. I'm sick of people on my lap saying they got it done. And then when I turn my back, they pulling out the gun. Folding on me every time, why you gotta run? I'm just thinking to myself, I got nothing. So man, I'm trying to make it. Oh, now you mad at me? Because I'm trying to save my family. Funny how they telling me that I can't be nothing. But now I'm on my grind and I'm trying to get something. They don't understand that I do it for my fam. Yeah, they don't understand that I'm riding and I'm grinding, trying to get to the paper for my fam. Yes, I gotta ride and good it, cause I'm tired of being down. Ain't nobody ever around, we all down. They wanna judge what I do for my fam, for my fam. They don't understand that I'm grinding for my fam. They don't understand that I do it for my fam. They don't understand that I'm riding and I'm grinding, trying to get to the paper for my fam. Yes, I gotta ride and good it, cause I'm tired of being down. Ain't nobody ever around, we all down. They wanna judge what I do for my fam, for my fam. They don't understand that I'm grinding for my fam.
Oh man, I tell you, yeah, I was jamming to it. That for sure.
Oh yeah, man. We took a while to pick the album listing, man. There's a reason why that's number one, man. It just gets everything started off in the right direction, you know.
Yeah.
Could you say for every track that you really put a lot of thought into it? Did it take quite a while to make sure that you really got it down pat? You know, or let me just ask you this: how long did it take you
to do the entire album?
Yes.
Man, we started since May. And we're just now getting ready to, put it out there and, get it started, man. But the finalization process was probably, it was the hardest as far as thinking. But obviously it wasn't as hard as actually setting everything up and recording every day and making sure we're on time with everything, as far as the getting in the studio, finishing up, getting rid of it and blah, blah, blah. The mixing really took the longest part, to be honest. But we started really, putting some music together and getting some ideas together back in May.
Okay.
And aside from schedule conflicts and everything else, if we didn't have that in the way, as far as different jobs and having to do side jobs and stuff like that, in the meantime, while still trying to finish this up in the studio, as far as scheduling conflicts go, if we didn't have that, man, we probably would have been done a little bit sooner. But not much. We really took our time with this.
Yes.
And, really thought out, the song structure, everything down to specific chord progressions to elicit specific emotions to help you connect better with the song.
Right.
We really went down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Like what did Nacho Libre say? He's like, let's get down to the nitty gritty. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we really got down there, man, and
Right.
put in some hard work.
Yeah, it's not just something that you just dropped a track, and just,
No. This isn't I'm not throwing shade on any SoundCloud folks out there, but it seems like the goal for people on SoundCloud is to get as much music done as possible and as fast as possible.
Right.
But your overall quality, your production level goes up. Don't get me wrong. It's
Right.
crazy that people can put out that amount in such a short period of time.
Sure.
But there's a reason why so many people get stuck on SoundCloud from putting out 1,000 songs a year, is because it's harder for them to really sit and focus on any individual tune to really bring a message and really work on the musicianship and,
Sure.
and make sure everything's lined out and
Right.
and make sure their ideas are solid. Even with mixing, if you try to rush a track and your mix is a little off or something like that, people aren't going to feel it. It might be the coolest thing in the world, but if it's not mixed right, people are going to think it was second rate,
Yeah. Well, it seems to me that they just do it quick enough just to try to please somebody else, instead of not trying to think what, how to please yourself.
Yeah. That's probably the best part about us doing this independently, me owning the record label and everything, is the only people we have really pushing us to get this stuff out as quickly as we do is ourselves.
Yeah.
Do we really want people to hear this? Is it as good as something else we already came up with? Working through these type of issues and figuring out what's the best product to put out there that we can do in this moment at this time and give the audience 100% all the way, everything that we can do. And obviously we try to learn as we go as well to get better and better. Mm-hmm. There's always stuff you can learn to not only improve workflow but improve your overall quality at the end.
Sure.
So it seems like when a lot of people try to rush these things, it kind of diminishes the quality.
Right.
And quality ultimately is probably the best selling point, I would say, because
Sure.
as soon as somebody hears your song, or let's say you're painting a picture and you didn't quite use the best materials you could have,
Right.
Something like that, people notice it right away, because the aesthetic, the intangibles that is almost like a second nature to a human being. Another person made this, but if they could make this, could they have not done it a little bit better? Because I hear
Right.
other people making stuff and they're in the same field of work here. Why is his quality not up to par of what would be considered the standard?
Right.
And I know standards in art don't, you kind of make it how you want to make it. There's a lot of freedom in making art, especially
Right.
in music.
Right.
But
probably I think that people just don't have the discipline. They keep saying, well, I don't have the time. They keep saying, well, I don't, I'm too busy with this and too busy with that. It takes a lot of discipline to have every track and to really make a cool album. So to make it, put it yourself like if you were the listener,
Right.
After you made this quality album, you want to have a quality album, because otherwise, they just will, like you said, put 1,000 tracks, put 100 tracks, 500 tracks, and don't give a care in the world, as far as the quality is concerned, because I just don't think these artists are disciplined. Therefore, it's going to diminish themselves as an artist. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it kind of looks bad on them in a way.
Right.
Because if you have to really sit down and think to yourself, though, too, as well, like you said, as the listener, as a person who would purchase this music, as a person who's going to indulge in listening this and pursue this music to create an experience for myself. I don't want that experience to be cheapened by the fact that the quality isn't there. It might have the best message, or it might have the coolest guitar solo, or if I'm listening to hip hop, his lyrics might have some of the craziest cadences, that pop through and really hit on different parts of the beat, and it might be it just might have the cool factor. But if the quality isn't there, people recognize it right away. They're like, oh man, something's wrong with the volume here, or ooh, something isn't, why does this sound so out of whack over here, or something
Right.
sounds misplaced.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Right.
at the same time, I also look at it as a consumer. Would I rather have 100 songs from an artist I like, or would I rather have his 10 best songs every time he puts out an album?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I work hard for my money every day, and I try to, and I try to spend my money wisely. So is this going to be worth me purchasing this? You know, is the quality of that so good that it's worth my hard-earned dollar that I put my blood, sweat, and tears in every day? With his album, I honestly think, yeah. And I know, you know, we're biased. We're the ones putting the album out, right?
Right.
But at the same time, just taking myself out of the situation and trying to be as unbiased as possible. You know, his album is pretty dope, man, and it sounds great in a vehicle too, which is a positive thing. Everybody listens to music in their car, you know.
Sure.
Go to the gym and you're jogging or working out, and you got your little iPod on, or you got your phone with your headphones or something, man. It sounds great. It really does, and it took a while to get there. It takes a lot of time and, like you said, dedication and stuff, man. We've been putting it in for since May, and this is October now, so close to a full 5 months, man. Right. Actually, it was the week after May 11th, so about May 18th. So one week after the end of the spring semester for most college folks out there. That's when we started. So it's almost been a full 5 months to get to this point.
Right.
So and that's day in and day out, like working on stuff. If he was writing lyrics to some music that I already composed and put together and sent to him, I'm already working on the next song. Or I'm already working on new ideas and possibilities for what possibly could be the next track. You know, we had some other ideas that we kind of decided not to go with. And we had some ideas where we were like, man, this was an instant hit. Like, this is what we want to do. We want to pursue this vein of creativity. This is it right here.
Right.
So that stuff didn't take as long. But the other ones where we're having to sift through and find out which one's better than the other. And, you know, and even down to the last minute, deciding the list, the order, the track order for the album was it took us, I don't know, we sat down in the studio for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours,
about an hour and a half.
Yeah, about that. We're kind of lazy, you know, we took a break and stuff, but but anyways, we took our time really going through the track order and trying to figure out what flowed better into each song and how is the message being carried throughout the album, you know.
So did it make sense for you that the transition for each song, that it had to kind of be a smooth transition?
Yeah.
Or
we tried to make it as smooth as possible. There is at one point in the album, we do have a really, really hype, energetic tune, which is the more rock vibe one.
Right.
And it comes after a kind of laid back, more introspective tune.
Right.
But that's just kind of, you know, once you start listening to an album and stuff and you start to get comfortable with it, sometimes towards the end of the album, after it's been like 10, 11 tracks or maybe even earlier, like 7 or 8 tracks or something, sometimes our mind starts to drift a little bit.
Sure.
And bringing that track in just kind of refocuses the listener.
That's what's cool about it. See, if every track had the same, you know, if it kind of remained stationary, you know, then probably people will probably tune out.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
probably after 3 or 4, say, oh gosh, the beat is still the same, the rhythm's the same. You know, instead of kind of giving the wake up calls like, wow, what is this? You know?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
so again, that's what makes it unique.
Yeah.
I believe. You know, so it's really cool, I'm telling you. We're going to play another one here.
Oh, cool. Play another one.
Oh, yes.
We're ready.
Yeah,
man.
why not? We're going to play another one. This is the Rock Shop here with the Shockwave special guest, Jay Smith. His album is entitled Poetry in Motion. Also, alongside Jay Smith is Ryan Tamez, my former and probably will be my current classmate again in certain music classes I've been taking. And so this next one here, Love You Never Had.
Yeah.
Who's the female voice there?
Well, I went through and we had some different samples and stuff in an older recording program that I was using, and it was one of the free samples that was offered with it. And I said, and it doesn't sound like it on the album how it originally sounded. I changed it up quite a bit. Okay, so it doesn't sound like how it originally was. You know, I did a little engineering trickery with being able to record that back into my newer program.
Wow.
With some other stuff and added some different effects and changed, you know, it changed quite a bit, man. If I was able to play the original vocal sample or whatever, then it would be it would be shocking, a shocking difference. You would be like, that's not the same person. That's not the same whatever, you know. But I just happened to have a cheap recording program that already came on the computer that I didn't know was around. And it's not name brand, it's not anything. It's just kind of like with Apple and GarageBand in a way. Because I was buying some more stuff to finish setting up the rest of our studio, you know, and filling some things out. And I had I was getting ready to upgrade my actual recording program, but I decided just to see what it was, man. And the vocal turned out to be pretty decent. It was cool.
Yeah.
Had a little pitchiness in there and some other stuff, but it was a really, really good foundation to start with. And then I just worked it from there until it fit. And then I sent it to him. I was like, "Hey, check this out. Pretty cool, huh?" And he goes, "Dude, I want to rap on that. Like, this is the track right here." I was like, "All right, man." He said, "I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna write something out, man. This is gonna be cool." So that's what we went with, man. And it worked out. It's dope. It's super cool.
Yeah, but the voice.
Who is she?
Who is she?
It's a disembodied voice.
It's a disembodied voice? Really?
Yeah, like I don't know. It's
a spirit? What?
Not like that. I'm just saying this guy. No, not in more of a metaphorical term. Like we don't. I don't know who it is. It's somebody who I guess got paid to do specific samples just to kind of like boost a program, saying, "Oh, well, we offer all these different things inside our program. This just happened to be one of the cheap, like just like stock plugins in Ableton and other in other like music programs. They have stock samples and stuff that there's no rights to. It's not copyright or anything like that. It's just part of the program. You make anything out of it.
Right.
So it doesn't actually say who it is. Like I don't even think there's a way to find this person. Whoever I honestly don't. I mean, but I went and I did my research. I looked for the sample online to try to look and see where this voice came from, like who it was and this and that, and I couldn't find it. And that's when I went and looked for the program, whatever. The cheap program that came on the computer was called Asus Music Maker, because I have an Asus desktop tower that's fully stacked out, you know, loaded up, good to go for a full recording studio. So yeah, man, it was just something that was randomly thrown on that program, and I thought it was cool, so I decided to change. Nearly like almost 99% of it's different than what it originally started out as. So
right.
I mean, you know.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and check out this track here. It's entitled "Love You Never Had." All right. It's off the album entitled "Poetry in Motion" by Jay Smith. Check it out. It's right here on KDUX.
Yeah, I know. You don't have to tell me. I understand. It's a love you never had. Yeah. This a love that you never had. I know the past hurts so much, it makes you really mad. But I'm just giving you what Christ gave me. So you ain't never gotta wonder if I'm gonna leave you in your seat. Cause yeah, my love run deep. So take my hand and follow me. And I'ma show you the things that Christ showed me. And I'ma let it be. Cause I already know true love can set the soul free. Mind over matter, I am not an actor. I'm breaking it down. I know about your past. You had some clowns, but I'ma make sure you never drown. I ain't trying to hear it, let me turn your frown upside down. Just understand, I'm with it. And yeah, I'm here to get it. No need to think about the past, cause you ain't gon' miss it. And yeah, I'm on a mission, so please pay attention. Even if you leave, you still miss this love you never had. So let's take flight. God gonna bless us with everlasting life. I know, but I'ma show you what's real, how it's supposed to be.
Call my name, and I'm already there. You don't need to write it in the sky, baby.
Rough times make a better plan, yeah. I'm the better man with the better plan. I just hope you understand, cause the devil really not a fan. So let me give you what the world don't understand. I can really get deep, so let me teach and let my soul preach. I follow the king and you follow me. That's how it's supposed to be. Love, joy, and peace. Ain't no stress when you messing with me. I'ma give you the love for the G.O.D. This is what it was, and this is what it will be. A love that grows like a tree. I'ma set your soul free and give you inner peace, just like him above. let's get married and join the Trinity. Cause real love never fails, always forgiving. So please pay attention. I know the world let you down, but I'm on the mission. Cause I ain't even here, the past, no reminiscing.
Call my name and I'm already there. You don't need to write it in the sky, baby.
Don't need to write it in the sky.
Call my name and I'm already
real
there.
love.
You don't need to write it
We don't need to write it in the sky, baby. I'm right here. I'm giving you everything that the Lord gave me. I'm giving you everything that the Lord gave me. Just understand what I'm doing is giving you what He gave me. So why you can't understand? I know you never seen a real man. I know you never seen a real man.
You don't need to write it in the sky,
No,
baby.
you don't need to write it in the sky, baby.
Call my name and I'm already there.
Already there.
You don't need to write it in the sky, baby.
Don't need to write it in the sky. Don't need to write it in the sky. Just follow me and let God be the guide. Don't need to write it in the sky.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Love that
Yeah.
smooth transition there of the song. It just flowed perfectly.
That's for the ladies, man. There's a lot of dudes out here that be doing people dirty, man. And you know, look, back in the day, man, you know, everybody has their past relationships and this and that and the other. But when you want to get serious and you're really trying to have a family, you're really trying to have the right environment to grow positivity and have love around your household. You don't want to be the one that's going outside of your relationship and going outside of your marriage, causing problems within it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And basically this is speaking to the women that's been done wrong and stuff like that, man. It's like, look, you need to look for a real man, and in our opinion, a godly man. But if you are out there seeking for a really solid relationship, you know, you want to look to somebody who's willing to step up, somebody who's willing to put the ring on that finger. You know, you need to know their intentions right away. Don't just let them, you know, get in your pants and hit the road as soon as the sunlight peaks, or maybe even earlier. You know what I'm saying? That's not how you start a relationship. That's not how you have a meaningful, you know, relationship with your spouse or a significant other, whatever. That's not how you start a meaningful relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're just trying to set a different kind of example for what ladies should be looking for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't just fall for the first smooth talker that comes through.
Sure.
That's the quickest way to end up hurt.
Well,
and the quickest way to end up with some regrets.
Well, you also have to consider the fact that it's where you meet them too. You know.
Yeah.
So it's not like somebody walks into a bar.
Right.
You know.
Right,
so
right.
they, you know, it has to be more in a healthy environment. You
Exactly.
know? So, it's rare, but it's only, you know, from the bottom that, you know, that people would meet at a church, let's say, for instance, or something again in a more
you know, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that, man, because I mean, way back in the day, dude, people used to meet, we knew each other from youth group, or we knew each other from being in the same club at high school, or we met in college class when we were taking a specific thing and we really hit it off, or something, you know, some kind of nurturing type environment that you can not only see that this person's serious about having a positive direction in their life, but they'll also be serious about the people around them and making sure that they're taken care of, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's just, you know, trying to set a different type of example, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody with rings and all these people with crazy chains and fast cars and all this stuff, man, look, that's all for show. Half of these people rent that stuff for the music videos. Right. They rent it. It's true. They rent it. So
it's like some people, you know, that have their egos. They show off to find love, right?
Yeah.
You know,
it's true,
and
man.
it's too bad though. You know,
trying to beat your chest.
You got to find somebody who loves you for you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You got to be completely honest from the beginning, and at the same time, you want to be with somebody who's going to be completely honest from the beginning. Look, I don't have it all, but I'll give you everything I have. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. Yeah. You know.
Very cool. Absolutely. Well, we only have a couple of minutes here remaining. So, Jay, so where can people locate, you know, your music, and how, you know, they would, you know, find you, so therefore, you know, they would be able to hear your music and learn a little bit about you? Any social networking sites?
You can always find me on 6-4 Studio. That's 6, spell it out, then 4 Studio. You can find it on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and it'll be linked to to the record company's page and just click on. You can find me on Facebook at Jonathan Smith, you know, and pretty much just click on 6'4" and you're gonna be connected to every single thing. And find us on iTunes. You can find me on Amazon right now. You know, you can find me on those major stores.
Yep, pretty much any online major store is going to be available, including streaming sites. So we actually have the album on Spotify. We have the album on Google Play Music.
Right.
We have it on YouTube Music. We have it, you know, Tidal. If anybody streams through Tidal or Pandora, it should be on there as well.
Okay.
There's, you know, pretty much anything you can think of, it's available. It's available. You know, and where the official release date is not until midnight tonight, technically tomorrow, but we want to
official release date on where?
Of the actual album, because okay, here's a heads up for a lot of people who don't know about putting a record out. The thing about it is, or an album, you know, a single record or an album. The thing is when you get ready to deal with these online distributors,
right,
and then you also have to deal with the individual store sites that are going to host your stuff.
Right.
It takes a little time to make sure all the bugs are worked out, so everything links correctly to each song and links correctly to each album and stuff like that. Talk. So the trick to doing this is you have to put the album and make it available a little bit early, but you have an official release date later, so you know all the bugs are worked out. That way it's better for the fans. They don't have to show up and, you know, oh, I clicked the link, but it won't let me purchase. It won't let me download here or there. It won't let me stream, you know. So you want to make sure that stuff's available for them ahead of time. Right.
Yeah. Gotcha. Cool. All right. Well, so Rock Shop here with the Shockwave. I'd like to thank our special guests, Jay Smith and Ryan Tamez.
Appreciate it, Dave. So thanks for having us on.
Thanks, guys, so much for coming out. Again, folks, look, this is a great artist here. Great album. The name of the album again is called Poetry in Motion. Go check out again, as Jay Smith said. Find them on Facebook, find them on Instagram, find their music on Spotify, and Pandora, and Google Play,
Amazon Music, everything, iTunes. We're out there.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time coming out and chatting here. You know,
it was fun, man. It was fun.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
it. Appreciate it very much. All right, so Rock Shop here with the Shockwave, and catch me on next Monday at the top of the hour. Excuse me, at the top of the hour, 3 o'clock Central Standard Time. Y'all have a great weekend. All right.
You too, Dave.
All right. Thank you. Take care. We'll see you later. We'll catch you on Monday. Bye now.